Well, there you have it, everyone. Stanley Cup Finals, as quick as it appeared and as long as we waited for it to arrive, is now over. And the Florida Panthers, of course, a horse is a horse, of course. The Panthers have won the series in 6 games, going back to back for the first time since the Tampa Bay Lightning did it in 2020, 2021. Congratulations to Florida. Congratulations to Edmonton for being there. We're going to have so much more to break this down in further discussion at the top of the hour. But congratulations, Florida. Enjoy the victory and pop the champagne and move on to next season and try to get your three-peat. Guys, this is your early edition of Box Scores and Bourbon on Friday Junior.
Look at the box scores.
Box Scores
and Bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
Baseball, Box Scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box Scores and Bourbon.
All right, Manny.
What's up, JB? Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome.
Welcome back. Thursday means it's time to talk some sports.
Mm-hmm.
We should definitely keep the conversation going. Jump right into the Stanley Cup and how that went. But first, I don't know if you're sipping on something, but I am. So, cheers, everyone.
Cheers, my man.
Clink.
Clink, clink. Yeah.
So the Florida Panthers are Stanley Cup champions again. 2
back-to-back for the Cats.
Back-to-back, a second one in 3 years. They're not going anywhere. They're here to stay.
Yep. I don't know how much of the series you actually watched, Manny. Did you catch much of it at all?
So I missed Game 6. Sadly, I missed Game 6, but I did watch Game 5, which we can start by talking about Game 5 because we talked last week about how we really felt like Edmonton had to give the cliche of like 110% and have everything go well and everything. They had to focus on the little things, and even then, at that point, when everything went perfect, they would have a chance to beat Florida. And that's exactly what happened in Game 5. They should not have been in the position to win that game. But everything went just right for them to where they were able to steal a win and force a Game 6. But at the end of the day, Game 6 was what you had expected it to go to. So it kind of fell in line. But, I mean, like we already discussed what Edmonton needed to do to win the series. They needed to focus on the fundamentals. They weren't able to at the end of the day, and even if they did, if you're going fundamentals to fundamentals and you're both playing the same type of hockey, at the end of the day, higher skilled playmakers are always going to get the edge. And in this case, Florida just has the better players, the better roster, and it showed itself. Game 5, it was showing itself. Game 6, like I said, I didn't really fully watch. I watched the highlights, but it was showing itself there, and they got the job done as kind of the picture was painting itself to be.
Yeah, the moment Florida won Game 5 at the Rogers Center, I knew that there's no way Florida's gonna leave because they had to go back to Florida for Game 6, and I was like, there's no way they're gonna not win it in front of the homestand. They're just not. They're gonna give the fans what they want.
Yep.
They're gonna get in front of the homestead, and so.
I was thinking Game 4. My bad. I was talking about Game 4.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, Game 4 was pivotal because I kept saying that. Yeah, I mean, that was a great game for the series, but in order for Edmonton to win the series, they would have to do 2 games in a row that actually would have been something that they hadn't done all series, which is produce 2 consecutive or just consecutive at all performances that led to victories. And so, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yep.
And so, and game 5 happens. And honestly, like, I think that, and this is going to get tied into Sam Bennett winning the Conn Smythe trophy for playoff MVP. There was something in that game 3 performance, and I think that's when it clicked for me with game 3. When Florida won, I think it was 6-1. There was a moment where Sam Bennett ends up putting a hit on Vasily Podkolzin. So he just rams Podkolzin on the defensive end, and then moments later, he's just deking people on the 1-on-1, and then putting the puck in the goal.
Yep.
So I think that moment right there really kind of just says it all for the series, because while Edmonton tried everything they could to produce on the offensive end, every time that they failed to produce, and Florida was, and then Edmonton rather was on the defensive end of it, Florida always seemed like they were skating with a 6 skater. It always seemed like Florida has 6 skaters on the ice most of the time. And here's the stat that I want to enlighten you on.
You're not a stat guy.
Out of the 289 minutes and 40 seconds of that series where one team had the lead, the Panthers had the lead for 255 minutes and 49 seconds. The Oilers only held the lead for 33 minutes and 51 seconds of this entire series. So when and the whole series was, why does it look like Florida is skating with an extra man? Well, probably because they every time you look, they're in the lead.
Yeah.
And Florida did so much to keep Edmonton off of their skates, to where whenever Edmonton could not produce on the offensive end, and they had to go all the way down to the defensive side, Florida just ran circles around them because Edmonton was too busy trying to not let Florida score, as opposed to just playing their game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed as if every single game you look up, oh, it's 3-0 Florida. I swear, every single game in this series, by the end of the first period, it was Florida had 3 goals. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's that stat, it's that time stat alone that just stands out to me, which, by the way, is an all-time record. That's an all-time record for a team holding the lead. And it wasn't even a 7-game series. It was 6 games.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There was 60 minutes that wouldn't even played, and Florida still held the lead for 256 minutes of this series, which is just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the them having to chase Florida really the entire series. This is referenced a lot in football when they say, like, you can't get into a shootout with a specific team because you're not going to be able to keep up with them. That is what, to me, it felt like Edmonton understood. Like, there's no way we can get into a shootout where it's just who's going to score as many goals as possible. We're not going to keep up with Florida. So they were definitely more trying to, keep the game contained, slow down the game, keep it at a low scoring point so they can be within that arm's reach to steal those games. It just did. Like you said, it just couldn't. They weren't able to do that very well because they even game 6 they won. Was 5-1, 6-1, 5-1, right? They just couldn't.
What in which one?
Game 6, the final score.
Game 6 was 5-1.
Yeah, 5-1.
Yeah.
So even at that point, with the series on the line, with them having to have switched out they've gone to their different goalie that was like a miraculous saver. And I'm blanking on his name. I'm awful with names, as you know, JB. But they had. Edmonton switched out their goalie for game 6 or games. I want to say it was game 6 and game 5.
It was game 6.
Yeah.
Was it? I I think it was Picard.
Yeah, so they switched him out because he was amazing last year. Even at that point, they were trying everything they could to keep that game close, keep it a low scoring game, and they no matter what they tried. Florida just has such a high powered offense that there was no way to contain that type of explosiveness they have on the ice.
Yeah, it was. It honestly would the whole series was just heightened again by Sam Bennett, and this Florida team is not one where because here's a test. If you ask Edmonton Oilers fans, oh, who's the best player on your team? Oh, Connor McDavid, easy. You ask anybody who's the best player in Florida,
I get 5 different answers.
I didn't know Florida had a hockey team. So this was honestly the Athletic, I believe, had an article that said this was the epitome of a we before me title.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen a team with so much conviction and focus and really like in admiration for each of the teammates on the ice and even on the bench, and just in uplifting them and edifying them and allowing and just cheering them on to produce the best that they could. And Sam Bennett is absolutely just a beast. Here's another crazy stat for you. Okay, so Sam Bennett had 15 goals these playoffs. 15 goals. He had 15 goals. 15. He had 15 goals, and in no regular season had he scored more than 28. He scored more than half of his entire regular season output in 23 games.
Yeah.
23 games. He had 15 goals.
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And it really just speaks to how much this team really just works together and just fortifies itself around each other and is cheering each other on to, hey, let's go play Panther hockey. Okay, let's go play our style of hockey, no matter who we're playing.
Was he the one that got the empty netters? Was he the one that got the empty netters in Game 6? I want to say he was, right? Because
he may have been.
Because if he did, I'm going to take away 2 of those goals, and not those. Those don't count.
No, you don't take away 2 of those goals.
It's empty
You don't
netters.
take away those goals.
It's like playing football with just your offense. It's an empty net.
No, here's the secret. If you got 6 skaters on the ice because you pull the goalie, then you should be able to hardline even more on the offensive side. There should be no reason why you let the other team jack the puck and then take it to the other end. You got an extra skater.
Yeah, well,
there should be no reason this is happening.
I'm just saying
none
for
at all.
The goal for the we'll have to find a couple seconds to look up to see if he got the empty netters. But if he is, 15 is good. Is really impressive. But I mean, more realistic. It was 13.
No, no, but it was an incredible series. And Sam Bennett absolutely earned the Conn Smythe Trophy. He was absolutely the best player on the ice. And this was a Florida team that beat Edmonton. And Edmonton beat out they beat Colorado. And Colorado was picked before the playoffs began as the team to take it all. Then they beat the Dallas Stars, who are a powerhouse of an offense. They beat the Dallas Stars all the way to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals to face Florida again in the rematch. And yes, it went 6 games. But when you hold the lead for 34 minutes, you start to wonder, like, okay, those must have been some magical goals, and they were magical goals that got Edmonton to win their 2 games.
I mean, technically,
absolutely magical.
They won Game 1, right? Edmonton won Game 1. Technically, they never held the lead of that game because they won in overtime.
They won Game 1 in second overtime.
Yeah, so there's no lead there that was held. So that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was Sam Reinhart. It was Sam Reinhart that got the.
That's right. It was Reinhart who did it. Yep.
I'll take back my critique.
Reinhardt had 3 goals that
game.
game.
He had 4 of them.
He had 4 goals.
He had 4. Quadruple header.
So, but great series by Florida. And here's another fun tidbit. The last 10 years in the NHL, let me ask you this. In the last 10 years in the NHL, how many back-to-back winners have we had in the last 10 years?
Stanley Cup, I'm guessing just the 2, right? Just them and
3.
Oh, who's the third?
The Penguins won it in 16 and 17.
Oh, okay.
Tampa won it in 20 and 21, and now Florida's won it last year and this year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we already talked about the cyclical seasons that the NHL has. Let me ask you this, JB. This is a little off topic, but I'm curious of your thoughts on this. The Stanley Cup is kept by the team for the year, and then it rotates, and they get their name engraved on the Stanley Cup. They don't keep the Stanley Cup. Do you like that? Do you like that there's not the team doesn't keep a permanent Stanley Cup with them, that is circulated?
Yeah, I like that.
You don't like the Super Bowl
because it keeps the history. This is it. This is the cup.
So you'd rather have that than the NFL with the team gets a Lombardi trophy every year.
Yeah, no, give me something. I mean, that's why we have jewelry, which I'll never understand in the history of mankind, why men who play the manliest sports in the world, they're like, yeah, I want a really pretty ring. What? What's wrong with you? Go get an engraved ribeye or something. I don't know. But yeah, look at my jewelry. 20 carats.
And then they're big rock. It's like an engagement ring. The bigger the rock, the prettier the man, I guess, in sports.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Max Crosby probably loves it, but yeah. No, so I like that because it's a piece of history. It's what it is.
I would rather have my team have I don't know, maybe I just have embraced the NFL.
You could probably get a replica done.
Well, that's not the same. I'm just saying, if you go through a tour of the stadium, wouldn't you want to see all the Stanley Cup, whatever, the Stanley Cups that they've won every year, instead of...
No, that's why you have pennants. Yeah. When we were a kid, we had pennants on the wall.
Yeah.
We had those weird, uneven triangles hanging on our walls at an angle.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about not keeping the Stanley Cup. It's it goes on tour, it's not even the only sport that does that. I think soccer does that with the World Cup too. It's here's a loaner for a year, enjoy it and give it back. I'm not too sold on that, but that's neither here nor there. I just wanted your thoughts on the borrowing of the championship cup that you get after a year of hard work.
Okay, so talk about borrowing. Let's get to Game 6 of tonight's NBA Finals, where the Thunder borrowed the Indiana game plan and came back and won Game 5.
Yeah.
So let's and then proceeded to just embarrass. Well,
no,
they didn't embarrass Indiana as much as Tyrese Halliburton embarrassed Indiana.
So Game 4 they borrowed the Pacers script because they came back from 20 points, I think, in the fourth quarter. Game 5 they had the lead.
Oh yeah, they absolutely dominated.
Yeah, they had the lead most of the game.
Yeah, but it wasn't so much that OKC dominated, but more so than Tyrese embarrassing the entire Indiana fan base. So
why? Because he didn't show up in the moment? Is that what you're getting at?
Look, I've been reliably informed this man is a star, and he is ready for the occasion. And it's funny. He kept saying, "Man, if I can stand for Game 6, I'll be out there." You look like you were standing a lot on the sidelines.
Well,
in Game 5, looked like you were standing quite a bit.
So let's dive into that a little bit. He had what they are calling a calf strain, right? And the coach, that's what they're saying. He had a calf strain. He was playing hurt, and everybody's harping on the coach.
Orange slice.
They're harping on the coach for leaving him on the court, even though he was visibly hurt in the game. He had 0 points in the first half. I don't think that had to do with him being
0 points the entire game.
Yeah, I know. But it didn't look like that was because of an injury. It looked like it was just him not playing well. And this wasn't the first time that happened.
It's not.
Game 3, he had 5 points in the first half. He ended up getting like some garbage time points to get him over 20, I think, by the end of the game.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time that he's had like underwhelming performances. I don't think that has anything to do with the injury. I think the Thunder just knew how to play him very well. That maybe it was the exposure factor that they just figured out how to defend him really well, but he did not look like he was struggling because he was injured. He just looked like he wasn't playing well.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like when I saw him not playing well, I was like, this looks like him earlier in the series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're right. I think it was Game 3 where I was just like, wait, where's this Tyrese Halliburton powerhouse superstar that I've been reliably informed exists? I get he's a human being on the Indiana Pacers, but I have not seen anything. The only thing iconic about him is him doing Reggie Miller's choke. That's it. That's the only iconic thing. And then also, what was it? It was the game winner
Game 1
of what was it? Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he did the choke.
Outside of that,
Yeah.
No, against OKC, he did the choke against the Knicks.
No.
I'm talking about his game winner.
He got game winner in game 1.
Game 1 of the finals
with the 0.3 seconds left on the clock. He was
Outside of that, I can't see exactly why everyone's like, this man's a star. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I can't make it make sense. Make it make sense to me.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson is more of a star than Tyrese Halliburton is, and Jalen Brunson only gets crapped on.
Is it more of the market? Like the bar is set high because you play for New York in Brunson's case. Like, is it because of that? Indiana's like building a sports world recently.
I mean, I guess if it might be the market. I mean, if you live in a market where, your fastest car is a horse-driven buggy that goes 23 miles an hour. Oh, look, let's put that in the Daytona 500. Yeah, I guess, you're going to build it up and make it to be something. But maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a Midwest small market thing. That might be it. And it could be that Indiana is they're just so excited. Oh, look, we got someone we can rally around. Okay, well, I don't think Tyrese Halliburton's that guy. Yeah. Maybe his dad. His dad is. I don't know.
And you know what? I'll be the first. I'll eat crow on that one because I was the one that texted you. I think during the Knicks series, and I told you like a tweet somebody had where they said all stars show up in the biggest moments to win the game, and you said, well, I don't know, I don't understand, that doesn't make sense because Halliburton is not an all-star. And I said, really, what is it going to take for you to think that he's an all-star? I'm eating my words a little bit on that because he hasn't had the best series these finals at all.
He hasn't. No,
I think he has not. Game 2, I think he had a really good performance, but besides him and Siakam, like it's like they have to share the attention, they have to share the way that they play ball. I don't know how to describe it. It just maybe it's in the same way that you're giving Florida credit for something you're almost like taking away credit from Indiana. Florida is a team or we before I kind of thing, but so is Indiana. Like they're all about team ball.
They are, but Florida plays like a champion.
Well, you got me there.
There was never a doubt Florida was going to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, well,
I had doubts that Indiana was going to make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals.
You gave them generously gave them one game in this series. They won 2 so far, and not too sure how tonight's going to look. What are you expecting out of tonight? Let's jump into what we think is going to happen tonight.
I'm expecting OKC to close it out in front of the Indiana fans, and it's going to be. Like, I hope that the airport terminal is connected to the clubhouse so that they can immediately go get changed and just go underground to their private jet because that place is about to burn down. That place is going to burn down anyway if they win or not. Yeah, I don't know. All the Amish are going to take out their kerosene lamps and
their kerosene
tie
lamps.
boxes together and have them run across the city, Samson style. I don't know. I don't know what the Amish do. I got no clue.
I've never heard of there being Amish in Indiana. I'm not too sure that's the right area.
Look, they exist, and they have to live in the Midwest. That's got to be where they live. They're hiding somewhere. Okay, there are allegedly huge swaths of the Amish community hiding in the United States. They got to be somewhere. I've always assumed Pennsylvania Dutch or Amish. Okay, and I'm sure they migrated from Indiana. I don't know. They got to live somewhere.
They're modernized Amish in Indiana. How dare you act like they don't have
modernized Amish? Okay, yeah.
You know, about Game 6 though, something in my heart, or it's, I don't know. There's no heart-driven decisions on this series, but something tells me that somehow the Pacers are going to find a way to win this game. I feel like they're going to force a Game 7. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I chose OKC in 7.
No, it's because you choose to believe this. This is why.
Maybe, but
it is a choice. This is a choice.
But like,
it's definitely
look
a choice.
back at game 5. Like they never rolled over. They were within arm's reach throughout that. Even in the fourth quarter, like 6 minutes left, they made it a 2-point game after being down 18 to like 25 points the entire game. They were going up and down with the giant deficit, and they still made it a 2-point game. Something tells me what they have done regularly during this series is going to translate into in front of their home crowd with the season on the line. I'll put the caveat that if Halliburton plays, then this is more likely to happen. If he doesn't play, even if you're saying he's not an all-star, he brings some heart and some passion to the court and the fan base. Everything works out really well when he's on the court for them to play really well, especially at home. If they're at home, if Halliburton plays, I just get this gut feeling that somehow they're going to force a Game 7 because the Pacers haven't rolled over in any of the games they've lost. The 3 games that they've lost, they haven't rolled over. And if there's a team that has more regularly won games in a row, it's the Pacers. The OKC finally won a couple games in a row, but the Pacers are the ones that won 2 games in a row before that, and they've regularly gotten some traction going. And like I said, they don't fold, they don't roll over. Call me delusional, I guess. I just feel like they're gonna win this game for some reason. I just feel like they have just enough in the tank to force a Game 7.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's a guarantee that OKC closes it out, but it's pretty damn close for me. And I say that because Indiana has been the master of the comeback all postseason, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then even here in the finals that we've seen. Except in Game 4, OKC, Indiana dominated Game 4. They were dominating that entire game.
Yep.
And quarter number 4 happens, and Indiana's held to 17 points, while OKC goes on to score 31 or some sense. Like, that to me was that fourth quarter of Game 4 is the turning point of this series, because not only was Indiana proven to not be able to hold on to a lead, but they allowed OKC to take one from their own playbook and come back and beat them. And then for OKC to follow up that comeback with that Game 5 victory, and that game always felt like that OKC should have been up by 20 points at every turn.
Yeah.
OKC was dominating that game, but they let Indiana hang around. I cannot foresee OKC being on the doorstep of bringing a ring to the great city of Oklahoma City and Mark Daigneault saying, hey, you know how we did in Game 5? Let's do the exact same thing. No. They are going to shoot absolute daggers. They are going to, it is going to, and here's what I think the X factor should be. Don't abandon the 3 game, but don't make it the focal point of it either. Because there were a lot of possessions in that Game 5 where OKC was leaning heavily on the 3. And I know Cason Wallace was doing great from the 3. Jalen Williams was so-so from the 3. Shea was the one that was driving to the bucket. And there's really nothing you can do, from his left side. I mean, like he's just gonna tear you up from there. But I think OKC absolutely has a game plan to mimic what they did in Game 5, but to put the nail in the coffin a lot sooner.
All I know is that the Indiana fan base is an electric fan base, and maybe it's because all they know is basketball. Really, they're living for basketball right now. If this series, if it was Game 6 in OKC, I would have a completely different stance. The fact that they're in Indiana, that they're playing in the Pacers' home court, it's just, we know that like fans make a difference when it comes to basketball. Like the atmosphere makes a difference for the players. What is the role players, the bench players always perform way better at home than on the road. Like it, if it was OKC at home, I would give it no chance. But they're at Indiana. I would be crazy to not give them a pretty dang good chance, that the Pacers being, for them to win this game and then force a Game 7. Just the fan base just brings so much energy, and this isn't just the Pacers fan base. Like OKC's fan base is just as electric, but they're in the Pacers home, and that fan base just brings so much energy, especially when your team is hanging on by a thread to extend the series. It's gonna be difficult for the OKC to play the same type of ball that they did in game 5, that to be able to replicate it in Game 6, because they're at the Pacers home.
Yeah, and like I said, this is far from it. It's not like this is as close to a guarantee I can make. OKC is going to close it out, but it's far from one. But just everything I've seen, and then now with Tyrese Halliburton trying to, trying to bring, essentially trying to be, I don't know, Spartacus, like laying on the ground with his foot on his neck, or Braveheart before he gets beheaded and he's screaming freedom. Like this, it's like this feels like a William Wallace shout for strength and encouragement that Tyrese Halliburton is saying, if I could stand, I'm gonna play. All right,
just
cool,
like,
bro.
What is it,
Awesome.
Rocky, where he's hanging on the rope screaming for what's her name?
Adrian?
I don't remember.
Adrian!
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where he's just like screaming for life.
Yeah. So, and good on Tyrese, I guess. I'll give that to him for trying to rally his troops. But Indiana is so much more effective when that team is healthy and they're all very pesky. Mm-hmm. Like we saw TJ McConnell kind of put on a show and make it interesting for OKC in Game 5. He made it very interesting coming off the bench and dropping 18, I think it was. But like it was, but again, McConnell only plays like 26 minutes.
They should start. They should start him.
Huh?
They should start him this game. Game 6, they should start him.
They're probably gonna, because Halliburton ain't starting. You gotta put someone there.
I mean, true. Even if Halliburton plays, he needs to be on the court way more than what he is, because he brings so much speed to their game. Like his defensive prowess, and we talked about this last week, so I won't say the same thing over and over again. But his defensive power.
It's funny hearing you talk about the speed he brings when he can't even stand up.
I'm talking about McConnell.
McConnell.
Yeah, not Halliburton.
I'm like,
no.
He can't even stand up without medical assistance.
No, not Halliburton. But either way, McConnell should start alongside Halliburton to bring that fast speed to the game. There's everything for you to lose, but you haven't lost anything whenever he's on the court. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of defense, like the defensive prowess that I already mentioned. He brings a lot of that onto the court. You have to try something to make sure that you can keep pace with the Thunder, especially if they're starting to figure you out. Start him. He could be a great, run the shooting guard position. I think he would be great at that, especially maybe he's just not used to the minutes and he would need to be subbed out often. But I think it would be a good idea for him to be a starter for this game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, if Indiana is going to stand any sort of a chance to win this game, you're going to have to start McConnell.
Yeah.
I mean, keep Halliburton fresh, I guess, to, maybe do the Kevin Durant thing that the Warriors did where Kevin Durant was hurt and, but they just kind of put Durant in there every so often to make it look like, oh, here we go. We're about to take off. No, you're not. No, you're not. So, it's hard for me to picture a scenario where Mark Daigneault does not have his team prepared to close it out tonight. Especially from the fourth quarter of Game 4 on, this has been OKC series.
Mm-hmm.
OKC has not let up. I can't fathom a world where OKC's like, all right, let's kind of take it easy. No, don't take it easy. Do not take it easy.
I mean, no, I would never assume that he's gonna have his team like take their foot off the pedal. That's not how they've played. But you're in the belief that the Pacers are done. OKC is gonna win tonight.
Because even when TJ McConnell was on the court in Game 5, even when he was on the court and they were struggling to get their offense going, and McConnell was kind of bringing it back, and he was doing a great job of doing that. And, and the Pacers are still being pesky on the offensive side of the ball. I get it. But OKC had an answer for that. And their answer was, we're just, you know what? Play your game. I want you to play into your mistakes. They finally adopted slow is smooth is fast. Like they are not going to allow they were going to mitigate their own mistakes that Indiana could take advantage of and allow Indiana to run into their own mistakes. Mm-hmm. That's it. And OKC did a masterful job at that in Game 5.
Yeah.
And if they keep this game plan, because like I said, that game felt like OKC should have been up by 20 at every turn. And it got a little hairy there. Got a little hairy there at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth quarter. Got real hairy.
Yeah.
And then about 5 minutes left, boom, OKC just took off again.
Yeah, they did.
So if OKC just remains the defensive prowess that they are, that they have been all season, if OKC can just continue being one of the top defenses in the league, it's what got you the most wins in the regular season. It's what got you the number 1 seed. It's what got you to the cusp of the NBA Finals. This is it. Just play your defensive style and let Indiana make their mistakes like they did in the fourth quarter of Game 4 and the entirety of Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it up. That's all they have to do. And it's not hard because they've done it all year. They're not stepping out of their comfort zones to do this.
Yeah,
this is their game.
Yeah, it's not a new game plan.
It is not hard.
Yeah. No, I get it. I agree. So if OKC wins tonight, as you're saying you think it will happen, do you feel like they have the pieces in place to make a run to kind of settle in to the finals? Like they'll be back next year with what they have on their roster now? There's a follow-up question to this, which will be our segue out of NBA talk.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, it'll be because when we talked about OKC last season, we said that they got booted out of the playoffs because of their inexperience.
Right.
Well, now they have used the experience from last postseason, and they rolled it up, baked it into cake, and marked it with a B, and ran away with the regular season, and now they are on the cusp of winning the NBA Finals this year. And this team is so young.
Yep.
When you have the reigning MVP SGA, you have Chet, you have the two-headed monster of Chet and Hartenstein, and then you have Jalen Williams right there. You have Cason Wallace right there. It is not unfathomable to me. Oh, and let's not forget Aaron Wiggins. He's a pretty pivotal point person off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does bring a lot. So this is and if they bring back Caruso, this is a team that's set up in order to try to repeat. Do I think they would need another piece? Yes. I think they would need another piece in order to really solidify themselves to be that number one team and the no doubt contender. For the 2026 NBA Finals.
So the reason I was asking you that question, and I was curious to see if you would bring up like the chance of them repeating next year, which you seem like you're on the probably they could get to the finals, some piece or two short from winning back-to-back championships. The last time there was a back-to-back NBA champion was the 17-18 Warriors, as you just referenced. And obviously we just got Florida doing back-to-back on the NHL side. The Chiefs were looking for a three-peat with them winning back-to-back 22 and 23. And then we get to baseball, where we haven't had a back-to-back World Series champion since 1999-2000 with the New York Yankees. So
New York Yankees, and they were on the cusp of a three-peat.
That's right.
And so Luis Gonzalez's little shallow pop-up dropped in the outfield grass. Yep.
So my follow-up question to you, which will segue us into talking about Major League Baseball, is why do you think it is so hard for there to be a back-to-back champion in Major League Baseball? Because I was thinking back, the most recent like dynastic team that there was in baseball was when the Giants won like 3 championships.
When they won in 12, 14, and 16.
Right. So even
No, not 16. The Cubs won in 16.
So they won every other
10,
year.
12, and 14.
Right. So they won every other year. Missed the playoffs the other 2 years, which is neither here nor there. But they were really good at that time. But even they couldn't repeat. Since it's been 25 years since we've had a Major League champion, World Series repeat champion. Why do you think that's the case in Major League? It's not the cap. It's not like you can't. It's hard for you to keep all your roster because there's no cap space for you to like account for losing players. So, JB, I want your thoughts on that aspect of things.
I think it could come down to 2 things. So, you mentioned the cap. It's not the cap because it's not called the salary cap, but may as well because you get penalized for trying to make a team better. But when the Yankees were doing it in the late 90s and in the 2000s, in the early 2000s, they were spending money like nobody's business. They were spending money like they were growing it in the Garden of Eden, and they were just, hey, move away, Serpent. I'm going to take this $100,000. I'm going to give it to Teixeira. Like this is we now live in an age in an era where you have teams that want to spend, but now you're more cognizant of what you spend and being able to actually have the results match the output you put toward the players in order to justify the taxes you're going to pay because of how much now you're going to pay when you go over a certain threshold. And, I mean, the Dodgers certainly seem comfortable with it because they keep doing it.
Right. Which was my follow-up point to that.
But the I think the other part of it is there's such parity in Major League Baseball. And the parity now comes from there is not a sport that I think does a better job at using current day, like just current day, modern day analytics and an old school feel for the game to be able to figure out who are the prospects I'm going to draft. Who are the prospects that I'm going to target in order for me to get rid of this superstar that I have?
Yeah.
Now, you look at the Washington Nationals, they did a great job trading Juan Soto for a package of, I think it was four players, so 5 players. And 4 of them, I mean, hell, I mean, they're all on their way to being perennial all-stars. So it's this ability to be able to not just use money to buy current stars, but also the ability to see the the potential in the prospects that either you're drafting or you're trading for.
Yeah, I think the NBA has like the G League that kind of mirrors the minor league, the farm system for the MLB. But I do think the minor league system and the farm system they have in Major League Baseball really helps that like constant stabilization of your force or of your team, because you know that you can trade, like you said, trade pieces away, put them in the farm system, let them grow up, and you're not gonna, if you have the right like front office in place, you're not gonna suck for that long, and that's not taking into consideration the White Sox, the Rockies, and the Athletics. Besides those three teams, most of the time you're not gonna suck for 2 or 3 years, which always brings in that rotation of teams that make the playoffs and ultimately the World Series. Because I was trying to think back, and I can't remember when the last since 2000, when's the closest we got to where we felt comfortable being able to say that team could have gone back to back. And I can't think back where it was really that close.
The only two teams in the last 10 years that we could ever say, oh, that team could go back to back, are the Houston Astros and the LA Dodgers. Those are the only two teams.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be in it every other year.
The Braves,
those two teams right there.
The Braves, besides their injury plague, seems like they always, like, if they could just stay healthy for 24 months.
I would say the Braves the last 5 years, like the last 5 years, I'd say the Braves. But if you go back to 2017, it's really the Astros and Dodgers.
Yeah,
kind of just flirt with that. Kind of, oh, maybe they can, maybe they won't. I don't know.
Which I would say, out of all the times, we are in the middle of a team having the best chance, in my opinion, the best chance of repeating this year's, with the way that the Dodgers are playing, the way that they built the roster. They won the World Series and followed it up by spending almost $1 billion on new players. So if there was a time where I would say there's a good chance, and I know we're in June, but if there's a good chance for a team to repeat as World Series champions, it would be this year with the LA Dodgers.
It's hard to disagree with that because I mean, the way the Dodgers started and now being and then they slowed down at the end of April, toward the middle of May, they slowed down. Well, now we're back in the summer season. You know, now we're back to, you know, the summer stench of the homeless in LA, and so this seems to be fuel for the Dodgers to really want to play well, just so they can go inside and not have to smell it anymore. The Dodgers, absolutely, the Achilles heel for the Dodgers is always going to be their starting pitching.
Yes,
they invested $100 million in their starting pitching. They had, I looked up this stat. They had the pitchers they had on the IL at the time, it was like 2 weeks ago. The pitchers they had in the IL at the time had a combined salary, a 2025 salary of near $100 million.
Yeah.
That was more than 4 teams' payrolls.
Yeah.
And they weren't even playing, they were hurt.
Yeah, it was like 5 players, right? 4 players of their pitching rotation.
Yeah, you had Yamamoto, you had Sasaki, you had Snell, you had Glasnow, you had some relievers on. I think Trevino was on there too.
And you're not even counting Shohei, because he's not supposed to be like in the pitching phase yet. You're not even counting him.
Well, because he's playing still. So but this is like, well, if it considered Shohei, that'd be every team in the majors.
Yeah.
So, but that's their Achilles heel, and I was asked this question earlier this week, that how many, because he said, I'm just following the Dodgers, you're following the whole league. How many teams do you think this affects? Like, how many other teams are affected at this level every single season when it comes to their starting pitching? I said, well, it affects every team, but it seems that it's more of a problem for the Dodgers every single year, because they'll bring in new guys and those guys get
Yeah.
And I'm like, you might need to fire your strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, there's
that guy might not know what he's doing.
Maybe the heat is like, there's something going on in LA. Maybe like the heat is tearing those muscles a little bit quicker than usual, because they've stabilized themselves. They're fine now. Like, they found the groove, but yeah, it looked a little weird that so many of their pitchers were getting hurt. It was just mind blowing that they like all-star pitchers. It wasn't like relief pitchers. It wasn't like no namers. It was like their marquee pitchers that was supposed to cement their pitching rotation, which has been their, like you said, their Achilles heel for the last few years. It's just they cannot keep those dang pitchers healthy. There's something going on. There's something in the water in LA.
No, there's probably a lot of things in that water. Yeah. Have you seen who's
that's true.
Who's been visiting LA?
Yeah.
Have you turned on the news lately? There's a lot of things in that water right now.
But as I look at the landscape of baseball, as we're June 19th, I can't help but feel like Thanos. You know I don't know if you've ever seen the Avengers where Thanos has the little balance thing on his finger, and he says balance. Yes, balance, just as it should be. Because we're in June, the Dodgers are rolling, and the Yankees, my beloved Yankees, have gone on this miraculous summer skid that they tend to love to fall into, where they just can't figure out a way to score, and they can't figure out how to play defense. It's like June kicks their butt every single year. So just like I was saying, it's like it's balance. Right now, we are as the world should be in baseball because the Yankees are figuring out how to play baseball again, and the Dodgers are rolling once again.
Yeah, and not only the Dodgers, the Astros are rolling too.
Yeah,
the Astros have gone an absolute tear. I think it's them and the Tampa Bay Rays that have just gone an absolute tear. The last month. Because, I mean, as you know, the Rays are 2 games behind first in the AL East because that offense is just freaking killing it right now.
Yep.
And then the Astros, led by Hunter Brown, of course.
Yeah, right.
Who's going to win the Cy Young? Can we just stop the season? Can we just award Hunter Brown the Cy Young at the All-Star game? Because no one else is going to get it. He's going to be the Cy Young winner of the American League. This dude has been an absolute beast. He's got 88 innings. He's got over 100 strikeouts. He's got a sub-2 ERA. Like, this is unbelievable. This is absolutely incredible to watch, and it's fun to see. But I want to bring up something for you. So I was doing a little, I was channeling my inner mathologist, and I was wondering how close Aaron Judge was from 400, or how close to, or how far away from 400.
Yeah.
And then it sent me down a mini rabbit hole. So, and I'm going to ask you this: over the last 30 games, what would you say Aaron Judge's batting average has been?
Oh, Aaron Judge's alone? Oh man!
Over the last 30 games.
Oh,
his last 30 games.
Dang, if it wasn't for I have like some recency bias with the last like 10 games and how overall the Yankees have been playing, I would have to say he's batting like a 0.3, like 0.38, 0.39.
So you're saying that he's been batting 390 over his last 30 games?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why you're doing this in ERA, but okay. No, he's batted a respectable 290.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought you were asking me ERA. My bad.
Yeah. Why would I say ERA? He doesn't pitch. I
don't know. Anyways, he's batting a what?
Going back his last 30, his average has been 290. Okay?
Okay.
His last 15, he's batted 278. His last 7 games, okay, this is where it gets real fun. Okay? This is where you can probably do it in terms of Hunter Brown's ERA. He's batting 115. His last 7 games, he's batting 115 with 1 homer, and he has struck out nearly half the amount of times he struck out in the entire past 30 days. He struck out 50 times.
In the last how many games?
His last 7.
Jesus Christ.
His last 7 games. So the last 30 days, he struck out 41 times. He struck out nearly half that much in the last week alone.
Yeah. Like I said, there's something going on with I don't know. This is what I told you early on in the season, I hold my breath with the Yankees no matter how good they look. What I can't make. What do you, Aaron Judge? What changes in your batting that your statistics tank so much in the matter of 7 games? So like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like what? You're batting the same ball. The ball's not shrinking for you. Like you're still moving around. He's not stuck in.
No, it's just the way the pitchers are pitching to you. That's all it is. The pitchers are finding where they can place the ball, and it's not even the placement. It's just the off-speed stuff that they're putting right where he likes it, and he's swinging way too soon.
But it's not like, so I get what you're saying, but it's not like the pitchers are like finally getting a like film of a rookie Aaron Judge where they don't know how to pitch to him. Like they've been pitching to him for how long has he been in the league now? 6 to 8 years? Like it's not news. Like they know how to pitch to Aaron Judge. What I don't.
It's a combination of two things, Manny. It's always one. This is a 162 game season. Let's see how many games Aaron Judge has played. I would venture to guess he's played every game.
I think so.
Let's see.
He hasn't been hurt last I checked.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm torn because pitchers already know who Aaron Judge is. Like, why are we? And this isn't like.
Yeah, he's played every single game this season.
Yeah,
he's played in every single one of the 74 games. So it's a combination of two things. One, its pitchers are extremely freaky and athletic, and they come out with these new pitches every day and know how to place it exactly in his meat zone, and he's going to strike out because it's not at the speed that he's used to. And two, he's tired. He's probably worn down.
Worn down?
We're in the middle of June.
Worn down? It's 162.
Baseball is a marathon.
Yeah, but it's a 162 game season. If you're worn down 70 games in, you're not going to make it to October, which might explain why he always ends up disappearing in October. If he was already tired by June.
Good night. He's just tired. He just needs a day off. Give the man a day off.
You're swinging a bat. Like, you don't need a day off from swinging a bat 3 times in a day.
My goodness.
Are you sitting here and trying to justify why his stats have dropped in the last 7 games? Because I'm struggling to find rationale.
No, I'm just giving you reality here. This is a real thing. They play 162 games before the playoffs.
I know they do.
Before the playoffs.
Yes.
They play 162 games.
You shouldn't be tired by 70.
So, yeah.
You should not be tired by 70. I'm throwing that out there.
Oh my goodness! Oh jeez!
Don't piss me off.
It's coming from a man who works in a cushy air conditioned office and then goes to the gym where it's the right temperature of 73.7 degrees in there, so it's a slight breeze enough to keep him not winded while he's doing his 6 sets of bench press. Look, he's playing balls out right now.
I know he
is.
And
if you haven't noticed, he's been the one holding this team on his back.
Yeah, well,
I'm not going to blame him for going through a little June swoon. You know who actually is getting booed right now is your boy Anthony Volpe.
Yeah.
That 3-2 loss against the Angels.
Oh,
not only did he make an error in the 8th inning, but he didn't even take a pitch.
Yeah.
When the base is loaded, he swung at the first pitch, grounded out, game over.
Yeah,
they were booing him hard.
The batting thing I could maybe look past, like settling in when the bases are loaded, probably a good idea. Just kind of find your groove. I never even played baseball, and I can tell you, like, if the bases are loaded, I'm probably taking the first pitch because I'm like, okay, let's see how this pitch is gonna pitch at me. The defense stuff, I will die on this hill. I do not understand if their brains get like sun cooked. Well, something goes on with the Yankees every single year where their defense just like falls off a cliff and they forget how to gather a freaking baseball coming rolling to their feet. It's just like that part I would have been booing him too. Like, how do you mess up in that way so badly with the game on the line when you are already on unforgivable. Okay, maybe not unforgivable because it's 10 games. You lost 6 in a row, which is bad. But you're already on a losing streak, and you're gonna err your team into losing another game in that way. Like that part, I have to agree with the fans on why they would be booing him. Like that's just not. It's fundamental baseball that you're playing out there, and you can't even do like 101 baseball, gather the ball, throw it to the base. Like, come give me a break on that stuff. That's the stuff I just don't understand. If I would put on a baseball field, I would tell you, JB, I could probably play some pretty good defense. I couldn't swing the bat. I could probably not get a single, but defense, that is like the basics of baseball. And for you to make that type of error, oh man, that just ticks me off. I saw that. I watched the replay multiple times. I'm like, how? How does that even happen? It wasn't a complicated like plate for you to catch that. It was a typical play for you to throw it to first base, and it just didn't happen, or second base. Like it was such a fundamental play to execute, and he looked so lazy out there on that play alone. He looked like he was just, I don't even know. I don't want to sit here and say he wasn't in the game because I'm sure he has all the passion in the world, but come on. Get me off my soapbox, JB. Come on.
The Yankee fan base is the only fan base that will yell at a 24-year-old for making an error. Like, this kid is like he's learning on the job. He's been learning on the job for 2 years now.
It's not the fact that it's just ball. It's not the fact that it's an error. I can forgive an error. The way that was an error just blows my mind. It was such a Was it not a typical play? Was it? He's just tired.
No one yelled at Anthony Richardson when he needed a nap in the middle of the game.
Oh, okay? I'm pretty sure we yelled at him for an hour on this.
Everyone lauded him with praise, like they did Simone Biles when she just decided to quit on her team in the Olympics. Oh, you're so brave for quitting on your team. Oh, the epitome of America. Don't follow through. Yes. Keep it going. Yeah, no, like, look, I'm sure he's not tired. He's just young, and I get it. He made the mental error, but here's the silver linings if you're a Yankee fan. Since we've decided to stick so long on this topic,
I'm done talking about the Yankees. What's the silver lining?
I'm just giving you a silver lining for the Yankees right now. Jazz Chisholm is heating up at the plate, and we all know, as much as Judge is the face, Jazz is the heart and soul of that franchise. Oh. Devin Williams is absolutely turning a corner in the relief. So he's absolutely been pitching lights out lately. And then, last but not least, you still got Max Fried. Max Fried still holding down that rotation.
You know what my silver lining is for the Yankees? And this will be my last thing. I know it's like probably not the best storyline. Giancarlo Stanton finally came back to the batting lineup. I know he's old, but he can still swing a bat pretty well. Usually,
I think he's only 33.
Man, he looks old.
He's younger than me. What does that say about me? I'm ancient?
Yeah. But
Giancarlo's 35.
Yeah, there you go. See, he's like already on the downhill. In sports world, he's on.
So am I. Hello, world. Goodbye.
But my point is, he's finally coming to the rotation after sustaining his double tendonitis, whatever was going on with him. He usually gets tired in the season for whatever his body is doing to him. With how long he was out, I'm very optimistic that he's going to bring a fresh bat into that rotation. That is my silver lining. Perfect timing for him to come back and start batting.
Yeah. Well, he's 4 for 12 since he came back, so. And it's not just a batting average. I mean, he's been getting on base, too, which is good. Go ahead.
We need to talk about the Giants and the Red Sox.
I was just about to say that. I would be remiss if we did not even talk about the two big storylines from this week. Devers to the Giants and Shohei returning to the mound. So, Rafael Devers, I was on X the other day, and someone posted, Rafael Devers is a Giant. I was like, this is a joke. And so I just went to my other site because it gave no context. It just said Devers is a Giant. I'm like, okay, whatever. Everyone wants Rafael Devers. So I went to I went to the Chicago Cubs site, Bleacher Nation. Shout out to Bleacher Nation, and that's where I get my info from for Cubs news, and they usually do big baseball stuff. And in it, there was an article. Devers headed to the Giants with an update, and I was like, "What?" And I will say this: once the Red Sox leadership decided that they were going to do nothing about Devers not wanting to play first base, they already lost that battle. And so the only two choices were, okay, well then I guess we're going to pay a straight $330 million to a guy who's never going to play the field again, but who's hitting balls hot at the plate like he usually does, or we can trade his entire contract for a package of prospect names and then roll the dice with those guys. And obviously they elected to do the latter. The funny part about this is, the Devers tells the Giants on day one, you want me to play third? Great. You want me to play first? Awesome. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I love, and it's such a slap in the face to Boston because, look, and there's been a lot of people out there. I know Harold Reynolds was one of them that said he doesn't blame Devers for not wanting to play the field. I do blame Devers. You get $330 million to play baseball. Go play baseball. That's it. You're playing baseball. And so, but because the Red Sox decided not to do that, they trade him.
Yep.
Now everyone wants Craig Breslow fired from the Red Sox.
No.
Let me remind everybody, Breslow was not the regime that Devers got this contract from in the first place. Breslow inherited this contract. It was the Red Sox management who told him, "Hey, you don't bring a glove. We got Bregman playing third. We got first base covered. Don't worry about it." Okay, great. I won't bring a glove. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Oh, we need a first baseman. You told me not to practice. Now, not to sound all AI on everybody, but look, practice is important. You should probably bring a glove to practice anyway. All right. I never tell one of my little leaguers, shout out Sunset Cubbies, to never bring a glove to practice. I don't care what position you used to play in, you're playing every position. Just be prepared. So they should have never painted themselves in that corner in the first place. And whoever made that decision is dumb as hell for telling a grown ball player making $330 million, don't bring a glove. You're fine. You're not going to play any position. You're just going to hit for us. That's it. What a dumbass decision. What a stupid thing to say to a ball player. What a ridiculously dumb thing to say. So I don't blame Devers for not wanting to play if they're going to have the audacity to say, you know what, throw away your gloves. Just give them to charity. Sign them, and sell them and give the money to your favorite charity, whatever. So, but now Devers is in San Francisco. You got guys like James Tibbs and who was the Giants' first-round pick last year. You got Kyle Harrison, who was a name pitcher for a while. You got Jose Bayo. And I have not figured out if Jose Bayo is related to Brian Bayo, who the starting pitcher for the Red Sox. And I wonder if there's a connection there. And there's another player that the Giants sent to the Red Sox. This is a great pickup for the Giants, especially if Devers wants to play first, because they just DFA'd Lamonte Wade, who was like one of their heart and souls of the franchise. They just DFA'd him. And I know Dominic Smith is having some sort of mini resurgence at the plate, but let's face it, it's not going to last. You put Devers at first, you got Chapman at third, you got Adames at short. This is a pretty solid infield now and a solid team, especially with the Giants not that far behind the Dodgers in the NL West. They're 4.5 games behind the Dodgers, and I don't see the Dodgers. I don't see the Giants rather not adding more pieces to this squad. I see them going out probably adding another starting pitcher. So great move by the Giants. I think it's a great move by the Red Sox too, because you got rid of that headache.
Yeah.
You were in because honestly, this was like um, a husband painting himself into a corner with his wife, and then taking a stand on something, and then eventually seeing, oh, I've lost this battle. Let me just cut bait while I can and get what I can out of this, and let's move on. And so this is the epitome of the Red Sox cutting bait on a lost argument when you made such a stance for so long and saying, you know what, Father's Day is coming around. At least I can get that one thing I've been waiting all year round for. So you just cut loose on the argument and you move on. And which is, I know that it's hard for Red Sox fans to swallow, and this is the last point I'll make about this. If Red Sox fans are upset that they just traded Devers, now this is a team that has traded Devers and Mookie Betts, and they let go of Xander Bogaerts. Like, this is a team that has moved on from their stars and collectively have gotten zilch in return. Anyone old enough to remember when Verdugo was coming from the Dodgers, and I was like, ooh, Alex Verdugo, he's going to be a star. And where the hell is Verdugo now? So this is something where if you're a Red Sox fan and you want to protest this, the best way you can protest it is don't go to Fenway.
Yeah, right.
Don't give the ownership money. Go to the beach. Go to the seafood market. Go somewhere else. Do not give your money to Fenway. Don't give the billionaire owner an ability to say, "Oh, I can do what I want. I have carte blanche to do whatever I want." So here we go, and the fans are still going to pay for it. If you got a problem with it, then don't go. But if you're going to keep going, quit your complaining.
You know what? I feel like you're letting Devers off the hook a little too easily, and I'm honestly a little disappointed with the Boston.
I was pretty hard on him. If you didn't hear me,
no, I'm just like you're.
I said it earlier.
But
I said you're a ball player. You should have brought your glove anyway, and you still should have showed up. You should have practiced at first. You should have practiced at third.
Yeah.
Hell, you should have probably practiced at second base. Just practice anywhere, just so you can stay on the field.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Boston was the one that made the greatest error in this, telling their star player, just throw away your gloves.
But
you're not going to need them.
My thing is, like, I don't live on pinky promises, and the Red Sox pretty much told, like, Devers was like, you pinky promised that I wasn't going to have to play first base. I refused to play anything because you pinky promised that I wasn't going to have to do it. And he, like, threw a tantrum and refused to play defense as he's getting paid $330 million to be a professional baseball player. So that's why I'm saying he's getting off the hook a little bit easy. I'm honestly more disappointed with the Red Sox fan base that they're so, like, heartbroken that Devers got traded away. I understand he's a very good batter. But at the end of the day, like, am I not remembering the Boston fan base as being the type of people that were like, you're not bigger than the franchise, you're not, one name is not more important than the franchise and the history that are, like, that Boston has for our sports, and you're hurt because one player refused to, like, play game, like, he refused to be a team player for what your team wanted. I had to look back when the trade happened. I'm like, why are Boston Red Sox fans so hurt? And I went back and, like, yeah, Devers was I thought I was losing my brains that it was some other player that refused to play first base. I'm like, no, it's Devers. Devers was the one that didn't want to play first base, and the Red Sox fans over here hurt that they traded him away. They should be more happy that their organization felt, hey, you don't want to play the game the way we want you to play, and you don't want to be a team player for what we need out of you. Get them out of the city. We want players that want to be here, and we'll do anything it will take to make our team win. They should have been ecstatic that the team decided to make that decision. Not sad that Devers is gone and, oh my God, I can't believe they're trading away such a good player. To me, it made more sense that they traded him away and thankfully got a king's ransom for trading him away. I feel like you said, both teams ended up winning because the Red Sox got rid of, for lack of a better word, a parasite when it came to paying a big contract for a player that doesn't want to play both sides of the field. And the Giants got a really good player that they wanted, and they didn't really give up some like all-star players in return. It was a win-win situation, but for the Red Sox fans to be hurt about him going somewhere else, I get it. He's a household name, but I thought Boston as a sports city had higher standards for being more about their team and more about the city than about the individual player. And like I said, a pinky promise from a team doesn't carry too much weight anywhere in this world. For him to have locked on to, well, you guys told me I wasn't going to play first base. Now you're telling me I have to. Like that. If you can't prove it to me, if it's not somewhere in your contract that you weren't going to play the specific base, you play the game that you're getting paid to play. And he refused to, so the Red Sox said, goodbye, see you later. We want players that want to play what we need them to.
Yeah, no, and I see it a different way. I see the Red Sox fan base should not be so upset that they traded Devers. The Red Sox fan base should be upset that the Red Sox put themselves in this position in the first place. Why on earth would you tell anyone, do not bring your glove? Hell, the Mets didn't tell Juan Soto to do that, and he's one of the worst fielders ever in the history of the game. They told him to bring an outfield glove, and apparently, I don't know if you ever, if you've seen the highlight with Acuna catching that Pete Alonso ball, and Soto, for some reason, it's caught in right field. Right field, he's on first base. He's like, where's the ball? I don't see it. And on X, I tweeted, I didn't realize there was a language barrier with eyesight. Like, how can you not see the ball is caught? It's caught. This guy has the worst IQ. There are kids at Williamsport with a greater IQ than Juan Soto, and they get paid a Lunchable and an orange slice to play this game. Like this, it is, and so when you tell your star player, don't bring a glove, I'm more upset at the management and the team for telling him that. Now, here's the redeeming point for this. If the Red Sox take that $330 million they just saved, it's off the books. If they take that and they give it to Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Cedeno Rafaela, if they give that money to these three, extend them early now, give them their money, then you know what? I will forgive you because this is going to take us away from when you didn't want to give Mookie Betts the money. Or the mistake you made when giving Devers too much money and telling him not to play defense anymore. If you give these three players, someone tweeted, hey, there's a lot of kids out there at nighttime at Fenway. Someone should tell their parents the kids are out at late night. Like, this is how young this team is now. There's just children running on the field. So there needs to be some supervision, of course. But if the Red Sox, the Red Sox front office can redeem themselves by giving that $330 million and splitting it between Rafaela, Meyer, and Anthony, give them their contracts. Extend them now because you've already admitted this is the future of your franchise. This is it. This is where your franchise is going to be built from. The next 8 years, because you already gave Christian Campbell that contract, and you've already demoted him to AAA because he's just been lost in space the last month and change. So he's already back at AAA. But when he comes back up, he's already got that contract. Give the other three their money, and then move on from there.
Yeah,
move on.
Yeah. Well, we're on the same page, but we have different feelings about the situation, I guess, about the trade as a whole. But let's talk about the Dodgers and Shohei pitching, because I feel like that's another storyline that happened, and I feel like...
Yeah, I was very underwhelmed. I know this is the first time he's pitched in 16 months, 17 months.
Almost 2 years.
But this is to sit there and your greatest compliment is, oh, he hit 100 miles on one pitch. Awesome. Great. He also threw 28 pitches, just over half of them for strikes, gave up a run, and this only happened in one inning. Okay, yeah, he's a little rusty. I'll give it to him.
Yep.
Now his next start's coming on this Sunday, in the finale against the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how long of a leash they give him then. I'm thinking maybe 2-3 innings. They let him go. If I'm the Dodgers, I'm just stop this. You already gave him his money. Just let him hit. You already know what he can give you as a hitter. Just let him give that to you. Move him. I mean, look, I put Freddie Freeman at DH some days. Put Shohei at first. Train Shohei how to play first base.
What?
But
are you kidding?
I'm saying when you need to give Freddie Freeman a break, don't give him a day off. Just give him a half day. Put him at DH, but Shohei at first.
That's ridiculous. First, I mean, sure, I was underwhelmed.
Or honestly, just make him the closer. Just make Shohei the closer.
Well, considering how he pitched, I wouldn't trust him as a closer, especially.
Well, this was the first time in a year and a half.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, he's still rusty, but I mean, make him the closer. Make Shohei the version of John Smoltz that he never was.
How could you? I guess you could pull that off, right? If he's a DH and the closer, you could still put that on your rotation. You could make it happen.
Imagine having Mariano Rivera hit 50 homers and 50 stolen bases a year.
That does sound nice.
I take it.
I was underwhelmed that he only pitched the inning and he looked a little rusty, but this is like the long game for him. I think this is more about the fact that he wants to pitch, so they're like slowly bringing him back into the pitching rotation because he wants to. When he got hurt, the conversation came up as far as would you consider just taking batting, and he said no, he wants to be a two-way player, he wants to pitch and he wants to bat. So this is just, to me, it's just the Dodgers like, hey, like, well, you want to do both. We paid you. I would think they paid him to do both, considering the size of his contract. So like slowly play the long game with him. Let him slowly pitch into the rotation, 1 inning, 2 inning, until he can pitch a full starting amount of pitches, 100, whatever, 90 pitches that he used to average or whatever that looks like. I'm ecstatic, not ecstatic. I'm happy that he's pitching again. But at the same time, I was underwhelmed as far as the slow pace. Like, if he can only pitch 1 inning, maybe just wait until he can pitch a little bit longer. Because now it just looks like he's just not ready to pitch. Because it was not an impressive inning by any means. There was, like you said, like the statistics behind how he pitched was just not impressive. Like, if he's really just to pitch, you can do that at practice. Just wait until he's fully ready to pitch and then just put him out there. With the type of player that he is, like, he's not gonna, I don't think he needs like rolling into the season. Like, once he's ready, and he can go at full 100%. Once he's at that point, just throw him out there and let him be one of your starting pitchers. If he struggles, just take him out 4th, 5th inning. But this 1 inning thing, like this, like ceremonial first inning pitching, was just like more of a spectacle to me than anything else. That's the part that I didn't like.
Yeah. No, I brought up John Smoltz for a reason, because John Smoltz was, of course, the infamous 3-headed monster of Glavine, Maddox, and Smoltz for the Braves in the 90s. He went through TJ in 01. He came back after he came back in 01 after recovering from TJ, and then went on to become the closer for the Braves. He saved 150 games. Mm-hmm. 150 games. You're telling me that Shohei and John Smoltz was 35 when he became the closer. Shohei's 30. You're telling me that for as long as the Dodgers have Shohei, he can't go out there like every other night and just be a shutdown closer and still give you 45, 50 homers a year as a hitter?
Yeah.
Imagine the legend that would be Shohei. As a starter already, he's only got 38 wins. He wasn't that, I mean, yeah, he was an effective pitcher, but he wasn't like, oh my goodness, he's so great. Like, he was only going like 5-6 innings. Like, yeah. He wasn't going any further than that. As a closer, he can get in the games more each week. He can shut down games for you, and he can still go out and he can hit all game, come in the last inning and close it out.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I would say about that is I feel like there's definitely a different like mechanics, the different way you've developed your pitching when you're going to be a closer compared to when you're going to be in the rotation or as a starter.
I get it, but John Smoltz did it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm bringing up John
Right.
Smoltz. John Smoltz was the last one that effectively did it. And, by the way, John Smoltz returned to the starting rotation after 4 years of being the Braves closer. So there's no if you give Shohei 4 years to be the closer, he goes back to starting rotation. He's 35 years old.
Yeah,
he's still got plenty left in the tank. Like that's all I'm saying is that you already invested so much in this rotation. You have so much in the minors already. You have so many guys who can start for you. And if you're trying to stretch out, let's say even for just this year, if you're trying to stretch out Shohei to be a pitcher again, to be the two-way player that he is, why not use this year to use him in the bullpen? Well, use him as a closer. Just put him as the closer.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But like the only like thing that would cause me pause would be the fact of how you closers prepare compared to just like a batter compared to a two-way player or a starting pitcher. Like that's the only thing that would cause pauses. Is it gonna translate well?
I completely understand. I do.
That's the only
But
thing.
John Smoltz did it, and he did it without hitting homers.
Well, either way, we'll see what Shohei brings to the table. Like you said, he's set to pitch. When was this? Saturday, Sunday?
Sunday. The finale against the Nationals.
We'll see how far he pitches in. 2 innings still doesn't do it for me. Like
I'm thinking he pitches 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah. It's underwhelming at best. But on that note, that's where baseball's at this week. We're done.
Oh, one last thing about baseball. Big Dumper is still on pace for 58 homers.
Yes.
He still leads the league in homers. So there you go.
And the Detroit Tigers,
there's your obligatory Big Dumper update.
And the Detroit Tigers are still leading the AL when I keep waiting for the wheels to fall off that team.
And I remember you telling me I was crazy.
I did. That's why
I picked the Tigers to win the AL Central. Look where we are. Oh, wow. The Tigers have the best record in baseball.
I know. Okay. That's why I'm saying. And I am on Detroit watch waiting for the wheels to fall off. And I'm not too convinced that it's going to happen, but I'm still fishing for those wheels to fall off.
The wheels are going to fall off the Mets far sooner before they fall off the Detroit.
Well, they're the Mets. That's of course is going to happen. That's just how they roll. All right, JB.
Yeah.
We're done. We're out of here.
Yes.
Tell everybody where they can find us, listen, watch, interact, contribute.
Well, first, let's talk about what we were drinking and smoking.
True. Yes, that's right.
It's called Box Scores and Bourbon, not Box Scores and Wrap It Up.
Box Scores and Bourbon. I was drinking the bourbon that I drank last week, which is the Bondstone. Still very good.
Nice.
I smoked it out a little bit again. I'm really liking this smoking thing that I have going on. I don't know if you've tried that before. I'm sure you've had something similar to it. So
I have one of those things here.
Oh, nice. So that's what I drank. It's definitely on the stronger side, but it's a very good bottle. It's a 4-year aged bottle, and I don't know. I'm enjoying it. JB, what did you drink and smoke?
I found this Macallan 12-year-old Scotch for $53. So of course I grabbed me a bottle, and I'm a huge Scotch guy. I love Scotch, Scotch. And that's the only Tyron Burgundy I have, other than I have leather-bound books. And I was smoking a Mayflower Dusk Churchill.
Nice.
It's very, very, very tasty.
Easy to keep lit, easy to light. That's always like my go-to. Yeah. Can you keep it lit through the entire episode?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Anyway, that's a wrap for us today, guys. You can find us full episodes, audio, video on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Box Scores and Bourbon, additional content, Insta, X, and TikTok at BSB Sports 24. Give us a follow, give us a listen, drop a comment. We love being able to interact with you guys on the interwebs. And until next time, go OKC.
Cheers, everyone.